Details make the difference. Most model kits are already well designed, and this one from AFV Club makes no exception. I will keep this part short. It's a fairly standard kit and you just have to follow the instruction. Just make sure the parts fit well together and you are pretty good to go. After assembling the hull, I decided to start detailing it with several elements, such as the casting texture and the 3D resin parts. And good news, if you have a 3D resin printer, I will give you a link in the description for you to be able to get them. For this build, I wanted to push things a little bit further with Photo-Etch. So I used this M5A1 set from Voyager model. It contains a lot of pieces, more than you will actually use to be honest, but this is a great detail addition set. The instructions are clear and really understandable, so you won't get any issue out of it. First, you need to remove some of the existing details to replace them with Photo-Etch parts. This process can be a little bit scary, but trust me, it's worth all the result, as you can see. Photo-Etched parts allow so much finer details that plastic simply can't reproduce. After removing all the handles at the rear of the hull, I had to make new holes for the Photo-Etch parts. For this step, I use a thin 0.5mm drill. You have to carefully cut the new handles. Because they are so thin, if you lose them, you will lose them forever. And I know what I'm talking about. So with a little bit of patience, this is the result. In the meantime, I did some advancement on the front side of the hull with fenders and light protection. The light protections require a bit of concentration to bend and adjust them well, but nothing really complicated. With this task completed, I could go forward with the tools. For most of the Photo-Etch parts, I used this VMS superglue. It's sticky enough to hold the pieces together while you adjust them on the model. And this is the result with the tool clamps. I didn't record the whole process because I needed to concentrate a bit on the foldings. And it was hard to cut on camera as the pieces are so small. But now I will show you how I made the weldings. First, you need some putty. I use this Tamiya quick type, but the standard one will also make the job. Putty is made with two components, an hardener and a plastic resin. You will have to mix them together with a 1:1 ratio until you get an homogeneous light yellowish paste. While you are mixing it, you will realize this is a bit sticky. But don't worry, when the mix is homogeneous, leave it to rest for about 10 minutes. It won't be that sticky anymore and you will be able to work with it. This is the kind of welding you can achieve with the putty. I will now show you on the turret. First, I like to mark the areas I will work with to make sure I won't forget a welding. After rolling the putty into a small line, place it where you want the welding to be and smash it with a toothpick. The job doesn't have to be a perfect clean line. You will be able to cut the excess with an hobby blade when the paste dries out. And now you can repeat the process everywhere. Remember, proper documentation as reference pictures is the key to know where the weldings are on the tank. Weldings down, now it's time to go back to the remaining Photo-Etch parts. For this, I use this folding tool, which makes the jobs easier to fold the tiny parts. While the tool is holding the pieces, you can easily fold them with the plastic things that come with it. And you can see for this kind of tiny parts, it helps a lot. I repeated the process with all the turret's parts. You see, using the right tool for the right job makes things so much easier. Of course, you can use tweezers, because a Photo-Etch folder is expensive, but it was the investment, especially when you have to deal with much complex parts. And because sometimes the space under the pieces is too tight, you might need the help of the fine hobby blade or razor blade. It will make the white tool slide under the pieces much better. After folding the pieces, now it's time to glue them. But first, let me introduce you this homemade tool I used to glue with more precision. It's made from an old hobby blade body and a thin wire fixed into it. Once again, I use the VMS superglue. Small trick: superglue works better when the surface is sanded first. The precision here is the key for clean and realistic results. When everything is well prepared, using tweezers makes everything looks, professional and satisfying. All the fear of looking at the instructions are now gone and we can move forward. At first it was a real challenge for me to do this amount of Photo-Etch parts. But the more I was moving forward in the process, the more the model started to look better. And it gave me more confidence for the rest. Photo-Etch parts, casting texture, and weldings done on the turret gives so much more body to it. Now that the turret is done, something's still missing. But before, I would like to show you my Patreon page. This is where the magic happens. I share the full workbench process, project updates, and behind-the-scenes content. You will also find downloadable STL files, including upgrade parts, realistic storage, and diorama accessories for your own projects. I also share useful reference pictures to help bring even more realism to your builds. If you'd like to take a closer look, the link is in the description. And now, let's get back to the workbench. Last but not least, the vertical gun. Once again, I did this step off camera as the process was really hard to capture while I was focusing on tiny parts. See it as a kind of paintskeeper, so you can focus more on the bling bling parts. This icing on the cake marks the end of the whole assembling process. You can see how thin and how complex the details are. We can now place the turret on the hull, and now the build is 100% complete. So, I hope you enjoyed this build process. Thank you for watching until the end. Take care, and remember, details make the difference.